What the hell is
Colonel
this?
Jessup, you have the right to remain silent. Any statement
I'm
you
being
make
charged with a
used against
crime.
you for trial by court-martial.
Is that what this is?
Judicial or administrative.
I'm being charged with a crime?
Hello. I know we're all anxious to get things started, but you'll have to suffer through my traditional spiel, unfortunately.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
She represents dark beauty like myself.
So I'm from South Sudan.
Did you know that South Sudan has had wars that have lasted 7+ to 39 years? 39 years, my people. No wonder they have the longest civil war ever in the history of Africa. Heck, maybe even the world. At the receiving end of this legacy, a legacy of marginalization, instability, and underdevelopment, are South Sudanese civilians, mostly women and children. Many suffer the consequences of conflict, and if that ain't enough, those who remain face challenges posed by climate disasters. Just sad. What happened? Why the wars? Well, history isn't always sequential. But after the Empire of Kush, Ottoman Empire, and the Islamic agenda, the First Sudanese Civil War broke out with the Sudanese government led by Omar al-Bashir representing the north and a unified separatist movement pushing to make the south an independent state. The conflict was because at the turn of the 20th century, the United Kingdom and Egypt struck a joint governance agreement that left Sudan effectively a British colony. In fact, this made abolition of slave efforts more successful. Yes, the Arab-influenced north of Sudan raided the majority animist Christian south for slaves. Now we kinda understand the undertone of mistreatment of the South Sudanese people in Egypt. However, British officials focused their resources on the northern side, to the exclusion of the historically marginalized south, which left the territory chronically underdeveloped in terms of education, healthcare, and basic infrastructure. Thank God the Egyptian Revolution removed British influence over the country, and because of the previous arrangement between both countries, it also led to Sudan gaining independence from both Britain and Egypt. But remember, the Arab influence of the northern Sudan now became the majority leaders, and no one from the southern Sudan communities held any high position in the government offices. So to them, were they really free? I'm not even gonna go into the Second Civil War, except point out that in 1983, Sudanese President Ghaffar Nimeiri declared the country an Islamic state and revoked the autonomy of the majority Christian South Sudan Autonomous Region, SSR, aka the South. The Second Sudanese War that lasted 22 years broke out in response to this. Although the Southern coalition was split, largely dividing along ethnic lines, most South Sudanese died from local infighting done at the hands of Northern forces. How? The brutal Boer massacre of 1991 and a resulting famine? Could it be divide and conquer, bad luck, entitlement? Who knows? One thing is for sure, Mr. and Mrs. Yai had to run away to Egypt first for their safety and that of their next generation. Only they know the trouble and pain they had to go through to leave home and their motherland into a country that hates you because of your color, the thing you're running away from, and to bring daughters into this world. I'm sure it was wild and crazy, but I'm also sure that it was a miracle, a blessing. But the best miracle they would ever have after birthing anokyai in 1987 on 20th December was to get out of Egypt, so she would at least have a chance to live far away from this chaos. 3 years later, after they had sought refuge in the land of their oppressors, Pharaoh, they had an opportunity to go to New Hampshire, Manchester. At least here, their family would have a chance and taste of peace and freedom. But at what cost, Your Honor?
For creating all of that potential and not just compromising your way into the corner of a closet somewhere wondering what the heck happened.
Anything else?
I'm afraid so. May we approach?
Carefully.
Your Honor, refugees face a number of mental health challenges, including depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, they've been in war. Refugees and migrants are particularly vulnerable as they can be exposed to various stress factors and challenges which can affect their mental health and well-being both during journeys and on arrival. Well, according to anokyai, the stress didn't stop there.
The Yai family relocated to New England. Anok said to Forbes, "When we came to the US, I was around 3 or 4, and we stopped in New York City first, and then we went to New Hampshire because they had the most benefits for immigrants. We were given government housing and assistance. Had we not been given that, I don't know where we would have ended up." She was raised in the Elmwood Gardens housing projects.
Child, but God is good. Would you look at that? Her mom could now practice her nursing skills and Mr. Yai could work in Easterseals, a non-profit organization, because they found a house. And finally, anokyai and her 3 siblings could get a shot at a stable school environment, something they couldn't have at home. Anok graduated from Manchester High School West. That was great. The not so great part was the bullying she had to face, and yeah, it messed up with her self-esteem real bad.
Because I remember when I was younger, I hated how dark I was.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I felt like people, I was bullied about it.
Yeah.
And now
So beautiful.
I've learned to really accept myself.
I mean, what's a girl to do? Nobody chooses what color, country, background they are born into. If that was the case, wouldn't we all look white, slim, insert modern day beauty trend? There is beauty in every color and form. You just have to be insightful enough to find it. And if you only see it in one color, shape and form like the world is lying to you to do, then Your Honor, excuse my language, you're just dumb, highly insecure, or just colorist.
Objection!
Sustained.
You think this is funny?
Anyways, thick skin was what Anok needed. Her mom prophesied encouraging words to her, and her dad, well, Anok needed to go to school to become a doctor. You all know the typical African migrant stories. Either you are a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, or nothing. So Anok joined Plymouth State University, studying biochemistry, intending to become someone that bet the odds of war, migration, and bullying, and become a doctor. Like I always say, man makes plan, but oh, the love of God.
The show was in the subway. The show was in the subway? With the rats?
The internet knows the breakthrough story of anokyai. After all, it's y'all that made her famous. So I'm gonna give you my own version of the gist, the unhinged version, because that's my specialty. By the way, have you subscribed and liked this video? It helps the algorithm, reach a wider audience, and we do need young girls and boys to know that there's no limits to their dream. So help a sister out. Okay. Anyways, Anok had been told by her peers, even strangers in a mall, that she should pursue modeling as a career. In fact, her and her sisters loved watching America's Next Top Model and models like Naomi Campbell on TV. So the modeling world as a prospect wasn't far-fetched for her.
And then I remember when I first went to the agency, I actually got scouted 5 times before that photo.
Okay.
But I said no every time because there was just something, my intuition was telling me not yet.
Not yet,
Yeah.
okay.
But I knew I was meant for something bigger.
But she was determined to be a doctor and make daddy proud. To make her resolve stronger, she didn't see no models who looked like her, exotic, dark skins, or even dark skins at all. On top of her self-esteem issues, oh no, not a beauty career. Meanwhile, fate was aligning. It was written on the stars that Anok's friend would move to Howard University, a predominantly African-American university, aka Black University. So Howard was having a homecoming. Anok's friend was like, Chummy, friend, come to my homecoming this weekend with me. And friend, please don't wear no t-shirt and jeans looking all chill. You won't walk with me. Over there, girls dressed to the nines, okay? You gotta represent. And okay was like, okay, seriously, calm down. Friend, why and what do I tell my folks? Actually, you know what? Give me a minute. Let me figure this out. Anok went to her parents and lied. I'm going on a school debate. Can I go? The African parents were like, sure, all the best. Kill it, baby girl. So Anok, dressed in a cool jean short and a black top, had her curly hair in a loose mane down to her shoulders. When she stepped into Yacht Fest, girl, she got so many compliments. She thought, me? You sure you want to take photos with me? What's happening? Pinch me. Faith was smiling. If only she knew how her life would change after meeting Steve Hall. Who? Girl. Steve Hall is a Harvard graduate who works at the university and had a passion of photography, documenting Black fashion, beauty, and culture at events like Howard's Homecoming. He had a website called The Sunk that posted images and commentary that he found interesting, as fate would have it, and according to a Washington Post article by writer Clive R. Woodson Jr., Steve brought his professional camera, rented a lens for the weekend, and planned to spend hours photographing the cultural aspects of homecoming. After all, that was his job. He said to the Post that he wanted as many shoots as possible, as many photos of fashionable Howard students. The goal was 50 to 75 dope photos. And oh my days, when he saw Anok, mesmerized is an understatement.
We came back. My mom said, "Oh, how's the debate?" I said, "It was amazing. I won." And then, I think a few days later, my dad calls me. I'm in school. He goes, "Yeah, come home. I want to talk to you about the debate." I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's talk about it. And he pulls out the newspaper. I'm on the front page news, and then it says anokyai. People are demanding her to become a model. And my dad's like, "So how was the debate?" I was like,
Recess, Your Honor. Oh wait, I'm almost done. Where was I? Oh yeah, so Steve was like, "Hey, can I take your photo?" Anok says, "Sure." He snaps the first one. No, maybe a few more, Anok. She poses awkwardly, wondering which world she dropped in. Steve then asks her for her name and IG handle, so when he posts, the world will know her. Then he tells her something profound. Something she needed to hear. Something we all need to hear, Your Honor, or those who've been told they ain't what beauty is. He said, "What? You're the physical embodiment of what my art is. Mysterious. Just a tall, dark-skinned, and insanely beautiful person. I don't know what you've been doing, but you should definitely be photographed and you should be modeling." Anok smiled, was grateful, but modeling? Nah. Even her folks didn't know she was here, so no thanks, but thanks. Okay, Anok's phone was blowing up. She was anxious to see cause maybe I'm a meme, she thought. Finally, a picture of beauty in dark skin, something the media had neglected to showcase and therefore pushed away so many people of color. Finally, she was seen and adored, a black pearl. And we ate it all up. And so did the modeling agencies. Anok had calls upon calls upon calls. Agencies' bosses were shouting, "Get me Anok, or you're fired, or you better get Anok if you want that promotion." Anok was overwhelmed. Baby girl slept as anokyai, the South Sudanese student, and woke up getting calls from Next, the management agency that called her every day for 3 weeks until she said, "Fine, next. And y'all better get me Prada." Actually, those are my words. Those are my thoughts. She didn't say that. And she did get Prada. In fact, she broke the record of the first South Sudanese woman and second black woman after Naomi Campbell to open the Prada show after 20 years. At least it was shorter than the war in her country. Is that bad? Child, Prada is actually a creme de la creme brand. Not anyone opens that show, okay? Prada Really? 20 years, y'all couldn't find no other black woman to open your show? Okay, Calories.
Objection.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I won't mince my words against prejudice, especially in the 21st century. It's just wrong. But you be the judge. Judge. Anok was proud. She bet the odds of war, bullying, and beauty to become the 21st century supermodel and top model of the year voted by fans and the industry alike in 20-something. Her mom wanted her to finish school and also take the opportunities that fate had given her. But science and traveling don't mix. And anokyai was a symbol. This wasn't about herself anymore. She had a big responsibility, because with power comes responsibility. To all those beautiful dark-skinned girls, including her sisters, to show them that they should march to the beat of their destiny, their beauty. Anok also spoke on nepotism in the model industry, which is a disease at this point. She understands the struggle of modeling even to the privileged, but dang, isn't it hard for those who weren't born from such a privilege? That's why people adore her, even Anna Wintour. She's insightful and with great personality, which adds to her unique beauty. She has become an ambassador for so many brands, which because of time, I won't mention, Your Honor. After all, she is the Black Pearl. I'll close by saying this, Your Honor. Beauty gets you in the door, but character, darling, will keep you in a room. I'm a changed person, Your Honor, enough that you should give me a second chance to love who I am and my skin tone. This beauty that God graciously put in me, to encourage other girls that the world is so biased, Your Honor. But don't be discouraged. You love yourself so much that you won't need no validation from them. Them. In fact, God says that you're wonderfully and beautifully made. And that is enough. I rest my case, Your Honor. God bless you and bye.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to call it a day. I will have very specific instructions for you tomorrow. And as always, please refrain from discussing the case. Adjourned.